The notification sound from his wife's phone that March morning would shatter what little peace Jake had managed to build after years of trauma. At 25, Jake had already endured more heartbreak from his own mother than most people face in a lifetime. Abandoned at 11 when his brothers were born because she needed time to adjust. 6 years of living with his grandparents while she played house with her new family, and a violent stepfather who once bashed his head into a banister. Jake had been no contact with his mother since October, a necessary decision for his mental health after decades of her coming and going like a hurricane through his life. His wife Sarah had maintained minimal contact, perhaps one text per week, hoping their 6-year-old daughter Annie could have some relationship with her grandmother. It was a fragile arrangement built on hope and heartbreak. 3 months earlier, Jake had undergone surgery to remove a pilonidal cyst. The slow-healing wound meant countless follow-up appointments, medications, and the vulnerability that comes with ongoing medical care. During one recent appointment, Sarah had casually asked their doctor about surgeon recommendations in the nearby city where they planned to move. It seemed innocent enough, a wife looking out for her husband's continued care. But Jake's mother worked as a nurse at the same hospital. She hadn't been there during his surgery, but had returned to work there in January while he was still recovering. What happened next would violate not just federal law, but the last threads of trust between a broken family. Sarah's phone buzzed with a text that made her blood run cold. "Hey, I talked to Dr. Carl, and while we were discussing Jake's recovery, he said it was so great that he was healing so well. But you guys are moving? What the hell? How will I see Annie?" The message dripped with entitlement and rage. Jake's private medical information had been casually discussed between his mother and his doctor, as if his years of establishing boundaries meant nothing. As if the no-contact order was just a minor inconvenience to be worked around through hospital corridors and professional relationships. When Sarah called Jake immediately, her voice was shaking with anger. "She violated HIPAA," she said, and Jake felt that familiar knot in his stomach, the same feeling he'd had as a child when his mother's choices once again upended his world. But his mother's response was perhaps the most infuriating of all. "It's no big deal, I'm his mom." The audacity was breathtaking. Where was this maternal concern during his teenage years? Where was his mom when he needed her most? The woman who had collected child support while he lived with his grandparents, who had brought dangerous men around him, who had lied about his father's identity until he was 13, was now claiming maternal rights to his private medical information. Jake filed a HIPAA violation report, as was his legal right. His therapist Mike supported the decision. Sarah supported it. Her family supported it. But when Jake's grandmother, the woman who had actually raised him, heard about the report, her response was devastatingly familiar. "You should let it go because it's your mom." The same dismissive attitude that had enabled years of trauma. The same, "that's just how she is," that had excused stolen money, broken promises, and emotional abandonment. Even now, with federal privacy laws violated, Jake was somehow expected to be the bigger person, to absorb the hurt and move on. But this time was different. This time, Jake's grandmother took his mother's side so completely that she cut contact with Jake and Sarah, texting that she needed space and that Jake needed serious help for reporting the violation. The woman who had been his safe harbor, his stability when everything else crumbled, was now another casualty of his mother's inability to respect boundaries. Standing in his living room, looking at his own children playing safely nearby, Jake realized the cycle had to end somewhere. Some violations are too serious to excuse with family loyalty. Some boundaries are worth enforcing, even when it costs everything. What do you think? Should family loyalty override legal violations and personal boundaries? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.